everybody. Matt from Red Wings Rant. Of course, the home where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings. Oh, damn it. I said it wrong. Where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings now have a home. Red Wings Rant. There we go. Yep, that's right. Make your own slogan and then forget it. All right, we've got the end of Team Sweden's run at the World Juniors, but we do have a new star being born. Of course, he's been playing great the whole time as Eemil Viro. We're going to take a look at his statistics. We have training camp getting underway, and we've, of course, got another beer to try from the Rochester Mills 12 Days of Christmas beer box, which means, yes, we are drinking some pretty old beer at this point because it's January 3rd. We're going to look at, on this day, what's going on with the Red Wings and everybody's favorite segment, Who's That Pokemon? I hope I did justice for Mike. But before we do all that, we've got another hot Hockey Podcast Network ad for y'all. So strap in. This will be Bar Down Breakdown. So go check out Bar Down Breakdown, everybody. But first, let's do this quick ad.
Did you know that your favorite band also loves your favorite hockey team? If you love hockey and you love music, you're going to love Bar Down Breakdown, a podcast that explores the crossover between alternative music and the sport we love, hockey.
Every NHL player wants to be in a band, and every band guy wants to be in a pro athlete.
With guests from all over the globe, come along with us as we interview some of the most captivating names in alternative music and talk about why we love hockey and how it's influenced us.
You know, there was for a few seconds a thought of like, well, maybe we should wear Montreal jerseys, and the NHL was like, I think you should stay neutral. And we're like, yeah, you know what, you're probably right.
So tune in every Tuesday on the Hockey Podcast Network, where we'll have a brand new guest and a unique look into the bridge between hockey and music.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, buddy. You know why?
Why's that?
No, because I'm going to tell you. Well, because not only are things comfortable for me downstairs, they're comfortable upstairs. Yeah. Look at that.
Manscaped t-shirt. Yeah. As some people saw on Twitter yesterday, my good laptop, or I guess I should say my screen, is absolutely destroyed. So I can barely see. I can't even see my own face moving right now because I'm using like a TV from like 2008 right now that my laptop's hooked up to, so I can still use it.
Yeah.
I mean, the unit is so powerful. I didn't want to not like. It's still going to do all the work today, and I'm just going to struggle. I'm just going to struggle with the output, but I could barely see. Like, it just looked like a black T-shirt. I couldn't even see the letters on your your shirt. You know what?
I totally relate. I hate having a big, powerful unit having to do all the work. You know.
Mike, sounds like you had a good morning today. I got a wonderful text from my brother.
Yeah, we were shucking corn this morning. It was a really productive day. Yeah, we're only 2 weeks out from hockey, Matt. We got camp broke. Camp broke. We got to see some line combinations. We'd see if maybe Larkin would squeak into the top line. Who knows? Maybe some other surprises abound. But yeah, we can dive into that, Matt. We're gonna let the beautiful people know.
Follow along. We've got new blogs from Jesse as we get the new year underway. We're all going to be coming out with our picks for the year of
last.
Last, yeah. We're going to have our our picks for the division. I mean, Mike, the Chicago Blackhawks could beat us out this year for last place in the division. I think there's a very good chance of that. I think if you dive deep into what those rosters look like, it's pretty scary for both teams. So, but
are you saying there's some more smoke of Patrick Kane becoming a Red Wing?
Oh my God!
I think just a couple of first round picks, man. That's all it's gonna take.
We still on our YouTube channel. Those are the top comments of people going, Patrick Kane. Oh. I just block them, man. I don't know if you can block.
Hear me out. Lucas Raymond, Mo Snyder, and 4 pick swaps for the next 4 seasons.
I got to thank everybody too for checking out the last episode where we took quite a lovely look and got super excited for Elmer Soderblom. A lot of people were checking out that episode, so I'm happy if anybody subscribed because of that and they had fun. Mike, I mean, part of the reason is because we're trying to get everybody juiced up for the new season coming up, and what better way to do that than to take a look at On This Day? It's my new favorite segment because I get to watch Red Wing highlights that I've been missing. I think I want to keep doing this too throughout the season, but who knows? Maybe we'll have to set up some highlights. But Mike, On This Day, Dylan Larkin, that's an overtime winner. It was 2019, so don't forget it's 2021 now, so it's 2 years ago. The assist came from Philip Baronic, but you guys are all going to see this is D-Boss all the way. So let's take a quick peek. Let's get you juiced up for 2 weeks from now.
Right.
The season getting started. That first win in 7 was heartbreaking.
Put that in there, Ken. We're having good vibes. We don't need to keep out the losing streak.
If you guys want to check out that highlight, if you're listening to the podcast, we'll have it on our Twitter. You can find us on Instagram too, as brothers_of_discussion. Mike, another quick shout out too. Everybody that liked my $600 stimulus and $2,000 stimulus of the John Merrill without a stash is $600 and the $2,000 is that beautiful mullet and stash he's sporting right now. Oh my God. Thanks for following along there. We made some people angry too with the other one I made of I gave our list of retired jerseys and then that was the $600 stimulus. Mike, the $2,000 stimulus, of course, retiring Mr. Sergei Fedorov, putting number 91 up there.
Weird.
Quick shout out to
you put a multiple-time MVP candidate on there with the leader of our Stanley Cup winning teams. That's weird. Why would you include him, man?
There's a whole nother day to spend in making the argument about like kind of letting go of that. Like you don't need to hold it so near and dear. Like it's definitely for me. I think I've turned to the side of like, let's just make these guys happy. I mean, they gave us so many years of brilliant hockey. There are people that I think the conversation, my old argument was if there's a conversation, just don't put them up there. It has to be for sure thing. Steve Yzerman, sure thing. Nicholas Lidstrom, sure thing. There was no argument there. I used to say, because there's a conversation with Sergei, don't do it. But now I've softened. I just say, you know what? Let's redefine what sure thing should mean, because he's like one of the greatest Red Wings of all time, and I think that's enough. Absolutely. And I mean, he's asked for it. He wants it.
Yeah, if Coco Beware can be in the WWE Hall of Fame, I think the Red Wings can add a 91 to the rafters. You know.
Well, like soon to be 71 in the rafters, because we've got our future captain. Not only netting our On This Day goal that we highlighted a second ago. But Mike, he's back with his old buddies. Hopefully sticking around for the whole season. Anthony Mantha, Tyler Bertuzzi, rounding out that first line as Red Wings training camp gets underway. No surprises there. But as we pop down the list, now, do we really know which is the second and third line? We definitely know which one's the fourth line. And it's
is that Blackfield in the locker room? Now, boys,
look, I'm going to put these next to each other. You guys figure out, you earn it. Who's the second line? Who's the third line? I think some people might argue that it is more obvious than I would say when you throw Zadina on there. But I mean, Fabry, Bobby Ryan. I mean, Bobby Ryan being on the second line is kind of where everybody didn't really know how to hook up, like when they were doing their line predictions. Are you going to put Bobby Ryan that high, or is he going to be a little bit lower, third and fourth liner? I have no problem with it at all. I think it's all just fun and giggles right now. I think we all know this team isn't going to be vying for a cup, so whatever you want to do, go ahead and give it a shot. I do think, Mike, part of the conversation that'll be relevant, I think, for the second line is that they're going to have the guy that's been playing the most like real hockey from these forward groups. And what I mean is Zadina having played over in Europe. And the comments that are being made are that he looks ready to go. He's game, set, ready, boom. So I think, at least from that perspective, like this first line performed, I think, in the top 20. So we're talking Bertuzzi, Larkin, Mantha. So you're talking top 20, all first lines across the NHL. And that's in regards to what the expected goals performance was, what the puck possession was, and the actual production of the line was top 20 in the NHL of Bertuzzi, Larkin, Mantha. So we know that line can perform. But if you can get off to a hot start with Zadina coming in, having played over in Europe, I think that's going to play off well with a line that, I mean, it's the bottom 9 of the forwards where all the question marks are. That's going to be number 1 right there. That could be something where if we're gonna have the season still be interesting about halfway through, where we're still like, oh, maybe we can crack that 4th spot kind of thing in our division. It's going to be because of a hot start on the second line, and I mean, I don't know.
If there's one thing that we've unfortunately learned to count on, it's Mantha getting hurt. So when the Red Wings started out hot last year, it was that top line performing, getting multiple, points per game. So the scary part becomes, if Mantha gets, the boo-boos we're accustomed to seeing, suddenly you're, thrusting Zadina into the first line. And you're like, well, what do we do with the second line? We have Robbie Fabry centering it, and center, we're experimenting with it. It's not really winning us any faceoffs. All right, let's put Filppula up there. And then you're like, my God, suddenly our second line center is, 49-year-old Filppula. Well, who's centering the third line? Well, we kind of got a couple guys who kind of center, and they kind of play wing. They kind of play defense. They don't really have a position. Suddenly, Darren Helm is your third line center, and it's just all over the map. So we desperately need the injury bugs to just stay away for a little while for us to not be a historically bad team again.
Well, it's pretty wild if you look at the 7 of the bottom 9 guys have played center. So you've got Fabry, who was set. They said we want to try him out at center. I think it was something to just make the second line more competitive. I think when they looked at Filppula as that option to go into the second line, it just was. It's not working when you play the eyeball test, especially when we saw Filppula missing the empty net so many times last year. So you just pull that right out of the equation. And we did see a lot of success with Fabry. I know we saw a lot of it when he was playing with Bertuzzi, but it's not like he's getting a downgrade with Zadina. So that's where that all starts to fit. But I do think it's so funny that, like, out of the, we'll take out of the bottom 6, they've all played center. Yeah, I mean, you could do whatever you want with these lines. There's going to be so many flips and flops that I know a lot of Red Wings fans get angry about all the line changes that Blashill does. But, don't forget, we also lose most games. So, of course, he's going to keep experimenting with the line changes. But I thought that was kind of interesting, like the way that we built this up and how important it was. I mean, Steve Yzerman spoke about it before we even knew there was going to be, when the training camp was going to start. He was talking about getting Fabry started in the center position. So I think from that perspective, that's where all the interesting things are going to come from the production side is, or at least, that's where the interesting conversations are. I think if that second line doesn't perform, there again, that's where you take a look at those other 2 lines and you see 6 different guys that can be plugged into the center position. I think that's where we're going to see the most change. That's probably where we need everything, all of our eyeballs on. Those first couple of weeks, if that second line isn't producing, because we know Zadina he's going to be hot. He's going to be coming in as one of the few guys that's been playing pretty hard. If that second line isn't performing, I don't think you're going to look at. You're not going to look at Zadina. I think Bobby Ryan is in a spot where he's got he's going to be producing based off of what can be thrown his way, if that makes sense. Like I don't think we're going to be looking at Bobby Ryan as like a problem unless he's sluggish, which we don't know. We're not going to know until we see him. But I think that center position where Fabry's at right now is going to be where we're going to see the most change in this lineup. All right. Mike, defense, if we take a look at it,
one more thing with the lines.
I'm sorry.
The 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the first line, you're getting. It's a strong NHL scoring line. The second line, in the first line, I expect defense out of Tuzi and Dylan, right? The second line, it's offense or bust. So their job is going to be to just try and come out even because I don't see a lot of defense out of Zadina. I don't think we've seen any defense ever out of Fabry, and Ryan's not a young kid anymore. So it's just like you get to that third and fourth line. What is their identity? I guess Nemesnikov is more of a defensive up forward. Filppula, I guess he's there to win faceoffs, but it just kind of feels like these bottom six guys. You said they all kind of play center, but it's going to be who's the hot guy to start taking faceoffs, and it's like the hot guy for us is going to be like, yeah, I'm at 41%. Suck it with your 39.8. Woo!
I mean, if you're gonna that game, like Glendenning's going to be the guy to count on from that perspective, from a face-off perspective. But I know what you're saying. Like, I think that's why it's going to be that focus for me is going to be on that second line, because at any point in those first couple of weeks, I think we're all going to be saying, put Nemesnikov in that second line, put Helm in the second line, put Glendenning there. I mean, there's going to be the calls for the experimental try from center if things aren't working out from the get-go. I think that's
I mean, Fabry's up there to make plays, right? He's right. Not up there to win faceoffs and get back on defense. So it's almost like I want the second line to be like the third line and just be out there for we need some razzle dazzle, right? We got to wake these. All right, there aren't any fans right now, but we got to wake up these television remotes. All right, we need some razzle dazzle.
I think you're changing my thought process here. I think, and everything you're saying is 100% right, but it's making me change that idea that Fabry is going to be moved. I think he's just going to be moved from center to wing, and it's going to be Zadina, Nemesnikov, Filppula, Glendenning, Helm, and then Fabry. And I think that's going to be the best way to round that out. And then, I think Bobby Ryan, I don't think he's going to be the problem, but I think he'll be that guy that becomes I don't know if we just want to call it the scapegoat, but he'll be the guy that gets moved down to the third or fourth line. As I don't know. I think it's probably just the best way to work it out anyway, because of the age of these guys. Yeah. But he's not a solution at center anyway. So if we feel like we're gonna get the offensive production from Fabry, and his offensive production is gonna outweigh anything he's gonna do from the defensive perspective, maybe that's where Nemesnikov does come into play. And I think when you and I were first talking about Nemesnikov, we kind of saw him as like the canceled out, like let's cancel out Fabry's, what are deficiencies on the defensive side? Let that be the solution. I'm curious again, still, how quickly that becomes what the fans are screaming for, and how quickly those kind of moves are going to be coming in and out. I would anticipate Filppula gets that shot first, only because they're going to go with what they're comfortable with. I'm not a fan of it necessarily, but I hope that Nemesnikov does get that shot with Zadina and some combination of Bobby Ryan and Fabry.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Helm, just to have somebody kind of keep up with Zadina, even if So he might kind of help offset the young guys as he kind of gets his education on what it's like to play defense in the NHL. Let Helm kind of carry more of that load, just kind of dump and chase and try and find Zadina for a play. But all that might be a lot easier, Matt, with De Kaiser. The De Kaiser, he's back.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're really expecting out of a guy who's just not been playing hockey for how long now? Almost a year.
October of 2019. So he couldn't even say it's over a year. It's over a year
it's like
since
15
it's been
months.
Yeah. So Blashill said that De Kaiser and Roenick, that's what he's got set. And this is these are quotes from after day one of training camp. So you've got this jumble of Nemeth,
Are they penciled in, or is it like kind of etch-a-sketched in, in any kind of jostle, and it'll kind of?
Yeah, actually, that was his. I don't know. I guess prediction. I don't know how you put that as a coaching perspective. It's not a prediction on his part. He's going to do whatever he wants. But he did make note that it could be De Kaiser that plays himself out of the first line if he's not, or the first pairing if he's not playing up to par, and that's all going to come again from being 15 months out of playing hockey. And I think De Kaiser, even in his statements post training camp on day one. Like he was excited to get back out there. But he made mention himself, like it's got to be something where he's got to catch up to where he was October of 2019. And that's not, we're not making any grand statements here. I think as we've watched sports, Mike, since, we were little guys, since we were like 4 and 5 years old, we've been watching. And we've always made that claim. Like if you have the option to put in a healthy guy over an injured guy, and this could be, we're just changing that conversation from healthy to recovering, go with the healthy guy. I have no problem with that. Let DeKeyser get his legs underneath him. I don't know if that means you're putting him on a lower pair or if you're making him a 7th defenseman. I don't know if we want to go that route, but from that,
I'm actually surprised that they're like predicting him to be in the top pairing. And I think we also saw some notes that he was already like working the power play, and I'm like, I hope that works out, but that's a lot of minutes to ask of that guy to be on the top pairing and be out there for special teams. So I would just think that means he's not going to be on the penalty kill, right?
I'm going to say this, minutes-wise, I don't know if we're going to play, like, Hronek could be asked to play like 30 minutes a night. I don't want him to, but we're only playing 56 games this year, and we know we're not going to have to worry about the playoffs.
Is that the pitch to Hronek? Buddy.
I know you like your legs.
You're not safing it up, right? You're not playing in the playoffs, all right? Not an option for you. Okay.
Well, that's the other thing, too, with talking about Zadina and Hronek being ready because they've been playing over in Europe. They're also going to be the first guys that hit that mid-season, the trip, once you start to come down because it's been they've been playing so long. I mean, that's human. That's as human beings. So I guess to that end, maybe that there's two sides of that coin where it's a 56 game season, but then the two guys who are going to be punished the most are Hronek and Zadina. But I still, I don't know. There's so many different ways and variables that are going to play into this because it's a 56 game season, because we're not going to the finals this year. We know that. I'm going to side again with, if DeKeyser doesn't look ready to go, just hold him back. I know eventually we're just going to have to force him out there, but if it's the first couple of games of the season, that's fine.
I mean, look, like with the Red Wings, I think ideally you want to kind of see everything firing on all cylinders. If you're at the switchboard, you just want to like crank the volume up on everything. But it's kind of like we only have Mantha for a little bit before he gets hurt, and then by the time that we have DeKeyser ready to go, that might be a little bit into the season. So you're going to be kind of cranking back on how much Mantha time you get, and then DeKeyser slowly getting reacquainted, and then maybe another, goalie gets injured. It's just, God, our depth is so rough. It's hard to like see a spot where everything's kind of, at the same kind of plateau, so we can just kind of see what this looks like when everything's healthy and ready. Oh,
well, what's funny is I realized I put down all these defensemen. I didn't even throw in like a Chalowski in there. All right, so.
Oh, for Nemeth, Stetcher, Stahl, Merrill, and Lindstrom. Yeah. So some smattering of those gentlemen. Yeah. And
I wanted to come back too to Mantha because you were talking about him getting injured. I don't know if you saw his training camp interview, but Art Regner.
I thought he got hurt already. Okay. Yeah. He had a tweak. He was in an interview. He tweaked a vocal cord. They want to be safe.
Well, that's where like I can't figure out if it was a shitty question or if it should have just been more direct. But Art Regner was like, "Are you going to be as physical as you were last season?" Pretty much saying like, "Are you going to keep getting in dumb fights and hurting your hand?" And Mantha got a kick out of it. He started laughing, and he said like. So Regner like put it that way. He's like, "Are you going to be as physical as you were last season?" And Mantha just immediately was like, we're going to try and avoid fights, if that's what you're asking. Like, sometimes Regner, I think you and I grew up, that was like this first sports show that we listened to was Regner. And I don't know what it was, but I was a huge fan. But after we had Burpgate 2020, when he was interviewing Steve Yzerman, and he's eating hot dogs and burping up beer in mid-interview, and now this question, I don't know what to do with Regner anymore. What are we doing, man? Come on. All right. So we still have a lot of things to play out in regards to this lineup. I don't know, Mike, if I mean, how do we play this game of like what these defensive pairings are going to look like besides just going like who do you think would be the odd man out to start the season?
Yeah.
And I got to think it based on what Blashill was immediately referencing on training camp and giving us those names of Nemeth, Stetcher, Stahl, and Merrill. I liked seeing that Lindstrom was used on the power play. So I on the second power play unit. So I think there's a good chance, or at least the better chance, that he's going to be on that opening day roster if he's getting that power play time. I gotta say, I think Stahl is going to be in there because he's a veteran. And I think they want to get this season started out with some experience on the ice. And that's not to say that there aren't other options out there. Like we just, if we're going to say we're not making it to the finals, why are we looking for experience to be on the ice with Mark Stahl? But that's just kind of, that's playing the eyeball test, right? Like at that point, we're not looking at advanced analytics. Yeah.
Let me ask you something there. So it kind of feels like
I'm leading up to Merrill. I'll say that.
With Nemeth, Stetcher, and Stahl, and Merrill, is expectation from any of these players to kind of join the rush? To me, it kind of feels like we are tired of putting 6 goals up defensively. So we're just going to kind of stack it up with a bunch of defensive defensemen and then just try to, have kind of lower scoring games. Is that a fair assessment? I don't know how many of these guys I expect to join the rush.
I think that comes back to the signing of Greif.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just, is that the strategy?
I think so. I think we want to play something that's a little more tight. There might be a point at the season where we open it up and we just say, "All right, boys, like go for it. See what you can do." But I have to hope that that's the strategy. But it makes sense because when we talked to Jay Fresh Hockey, that was his assessment of all these signings was you're getting bargain deals, but you're also not getting a lot of offensive production from this. What you're hoping for is the defense is so steadfast and hard to break through that you're going to put the offensive onus on a first line pairing or on the power play. And then the rest of the game is just limit these other defensive pairings to maybe like 1 goal altogether. Play as tight as possible. I guess it would have to be like right in that 1 to 2 goal range. I don't know how much you could expect. The bottom pairings as long, mixed with your bottom 6 forwards. If you're really sitting there going, well, let's hope that it's just 1 goal because that's probably a really good fucking team. But I think that's how you got to play it. And ultimately, the sacrifice there is 0 goals from the bottom 6 and from the bottom 4. And you just hope that when we talked earlier about the first line actually performing up to par with the rest of the first lines across the league, or at least being interchangeable with, if there's a second line that's performing pretty hot, they're going to perform better than them. It's going to be about playing a chess game from Blashill's perspective, getting that first line out there against the line that they can be successful against, and then allowing the bottom 4 and the bottom 6 to be the shutdown.
It's just, or at least I think because we're you and I were kind of a little we'll use the word concerned about some of the forward depth on our team. Mm-hmm. But for me, I know we still are sitting on about $9 million in cap space, and it just kind of feels like we have these defensive defensemen, and if Yzerman kind of watches how this plays out, and we're just a goal behind in a lot of these games, maybe that's when we can actually pull that trigger and take one of those contracts off of Tampa Bay. I'm looking at you, Tyler Johnson. But I don't know if something like that happens and you see the Red Wings are, maybe almost treading water defensively and, they're just, still competitive. Like a player like that, suddenly you can have that second and third line depth, Matt. It's an exciting possibility. And I guess as leery as we were of the forward lines, I think the defense might allow you to do those kind of risky line combinations up front where your second line might have no defense on it. But you're going to be able to lean on guys who are defensive defensemen to kind of, hold the fort for you.
Yeah, I guess it is definitely going to be interesting to keep an eye on those first couple of weeks to see like what are the wingers doing on that second line, are they cutting in a little bit closer to the net? Or are we playing the defenseman back? Like, are we doing those early exits just to make sure that if there's any turnovers? And I'm basically saying, like, if Fabry's going to be let go, like let loose, like do what you got to do, man, to get to the net, which again, we saw, from a puck possession perspective, he can give you enough production to overcome any deficiencies. But that's it, like where do you gonna put those defensemen? How early are they gonna make the exit? What are your wingers doing? Who's playing up? Are we doing 3-man up to try and take advantage of Fabry's aggressive play? And if we see the opposite, if we see anything going in any other direction, are we letting Fabry do what he does best? Is that really best for Fabry? And is that going to maybe be too conservative? But that's what you got to look out for in those first couple of weeks, is what is that second line doing from an openness perspective, from an aggression perspective, I think. And, does it play off the idea that this could be a high production second line, trying to perform in the top half of the league in regards to production on a second line, and not give up too much, not be, that conversation of, well, you've got to play tighter because you're giving up too many goals despite the couple that you're putting on top. Right.
I think what we learned too is that you and I really love playing the GM.
Oh, you're ready to move on. All right.
No, I was just saying, because this was like the most excited we got for the show, is to kind of juggle that stuff.
I really miss talking about this stuff. It's making me sad and happy at the same time.
I want to just share with you quick 2 numbers. Okay, we'll give you 3 numbers. Tyler Johnson's making $5 million, so we could still get him over here, and we still have some wiggle room. But the Red Wings are sitting on 9.5 in space.
I will confess.
And Tampa Bay is sitting on $0 in space. They are right against it at 97 mil. So, Matt, give Uncle Stevie a call. We'll help you out, buddy. Come on, what do you got?
I wanted to throw. I mean, you still have the Islanders that need to sign Matt Barzal. As far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure he's not been signed yet. I wonder what can be fit into that.
I know this is a whole
bubble right there,
worms, but I saw one other thing that made me just bring a tear to my eye. Like, the Red Wings are finally in a spot where they can, because they're garbage, so they're in a spot where they could get a good draft pick, and then we screw up the lottery, right? The other thing too is the Red Wings are like, hey, we're open for business.
We screwed it up.
We'll take every single bad contract. Just give us a draft pick. And right when we're like at a spot where we can just do that, just irresponsibly, just give us all the trash contracts. Suddenly there's another expansion team. Fuck. Now we got more competition for bad contract trades. But anyway, I digress. Matt, is it beer time?
Oh, is it? I thought we were okay. Yeah, let's do beer. Let's do it.
Yeah, all right.
I got all set up for Be the GM, but let's all right, everybody. We're drinking beer. Let me
it's getting
right
warm
here.
over here. Yeah,
So we're doing
overtime.
well,
Yeah.
We're doing the 12 Days of Christmas Milkshake Stout. We've been drinking all these to see if it was worth your while. Obviously, it's past Christmas, so don't go out there and buy these boxes anymore. Today, we're going to be downing the salted caramel milkshake stout. I got to say, I actually was saving this one for a while, but it's the only one I could find in the fridge, even though I know we have one more after this.
Yeah.
So that's why we're drinking it today. I wanted to save it for last. I got to imagine that this is going to be the caramel flavor I was hoping for after we just did toffee. Oops.
Oh, English coffee. Yeah.
Yep. And that one for me ranked pretty high. And ultimately, I think we've seen beers all over the place. If it had a coconut flavor, we really just hated it. I mean, a 1.26 out of 10. The English toffee that we drank last week was an 8.12. And highest ranking beer so far is still the peanut butter stout from our fourth beer that we tried. Highest score on drinkability, matching the flavor to the can, and then the actual can really getting us going too. So that's what we're actually grading all these beers on. Is can we drink it? Is it something you think you could pop open a second and third can? Are we matching the flavor to what this thing's actually called? So we're going to be looking not just for caramel flavor, Mike. Got to get a little bit of salt. Called it salted caramel for some reason. And of course the can, which right now, not very subtle. And I don't know how I feel about the blobs of caramel that are on here, but let's jump in, Mike. I got mine all poured out. I think it's a little too hot in my office today because we have quite the head on that guy, and it's not going down.
A little truffle tiramisu going on there. That's pretty nice. All right.
Definitely a BBC head on that beer.
Wow.
All right.
We can edit that out post. Okay.
Let's
Oh, we're live, buddy. Oh shit. All right. Well, Matt, I've been drinking a lot of ginger coffee. Good coffee. Maybe it's just kind of overwhelming, but
yeah.
Are you tasting caramel?
I am getting caramel. I'm not getting any salt. And with that too, like, can't we start the conversation that we should be getting some antioxidants from this? If they're oh my God, I got salt.
You got a little salt rock in there?
I don't like it. It's like somebody just ran in my office right now and sprinkled a little bit of salt on top. I don't know. How do I feel about getting like actual salt feel and flavor on my beer? Are you getting that salt? It's definitely like it's the linger on the back. And it's sticking around too. Oh my gosh.
Oh. It's
in the middle of the beer. The salt is in the middle.
I'm trying to drink all the way to the middle here. Hold on. I'm racing through
here's the thing.
can.
It's the drinkability. Like if we just said, drink this stout, I just went through half of it.
Yeah.
So it's there. I'm gonna go ahead. I can't imagine. I mean, the saltiness is gonna get to me. I was trying to find the salt, so that's probably why I drink it so fast. But I'm hoping the antioxidants kick in with all that salt. Right, that's the game you play with your smart water.
I'm really soldiering through. I'm already like down to here. Give me drinkability at about 8.4.
I like it. Now, for you, Mike, this makes it the second highest beer for your drinkability. I'm gonna sound like I'm snootier here because I don't like this as much as the Red Velvet, especially not as much as the peanut butter stout. I'm gonna go 8.3 on mine. Now, matching the flavor, Mike, like I said, I just got salt, and I got caramel. I know you said you're not getting it. I think this is sweet.
Yeah,
and for some reason,
it's not punching me yet.
The salt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like remember when you were a kid and you put too much salt on your French fries? You ate that? That's what it was for me, like a kick right on the tongue of saltiness. I don't know. I'm not thrilled that it matched the flavor that much for me, but I mean it did match the flavor. Like that salt is there.
I really thought that like last week when we had the English toffee. Yeah. That's kind of what I imagine when I close my eyes and just think of caramel flavor.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a fault of my own, but it's just how I picture that, almost like disgustingly sweet. I'm not a huge caramel guy, but this is pretty manageable for me. But it just doesn't taste like caramel, to be honest. I kind of have that, when you close your eyes, you should think of that kind of, chewy, stretchy, kind of sweet candy. And
yeah.
I'm just, it's not hitting me for some reason.
So what's your score on that?
I'm going to have to just give it a 5 because, it's just not popping for me. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. I'm really getting the soft caramels. Did you ever have those? I know Mom used to buy them, and I'd eat the whole bag myself, so I don't know if I ever left any for you. But that's what I'm getting, like the soft caramels and then the saltiness at the end. Like it really kicks me right at the, I don't know, I'd say like 5 seconds after I've swallowed. It's really salty 5 seconds after you swallow. All right, so let's do the can. I'm gonna get another close up here. I know we've ragged on subtlety before, but they're with this. I like the font that they use for salted caramel. It really helps sell the holiday feel, and it makes it look like a candy shop. It's the caramels on there that I don't know. They don't look that appealing, especially with the little sprinkle of like sea salt on top. That's
a lot of salt.
game. Yeah, this is quite a bit.
Like
it's not going to be hidden.
Salt should be used like sprinkles, like that word you used. You don't just take a handful and kind of crush it all over your sundae. You know, you have like roughly a granule. I get it, but I think for me, these are kind of like dried out old caramels. Like they look like, your teeth fell out, so you're just trying to wedge in like a little brown, like molar.
Yeah.
And then it's starting to chip away, so you have these little salt granules falling out. So it looks like teeth chiclets and like rotted molars, in my opinion. So knowing
somebody's been smoking way too long.
Yeah, this is a dentist's nightmare. This can, and I gotta say, caramel. I like seeing that, like the stretch and the pull, almost like mozzarella cheese, but for candy.
Or like just put like a hot caramel sundae on the can.
Or you ever do that cool thing where, like, when you're at home, you make a grilled cheese and you cut it in half, and then you kind of like slowly spread it apart.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're about to make love to that sandwich, like blah, 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 blah. Like that's what the caramel should look like. When you cut a Snickers in half. And just slowly spread her open, and then you can see right in it.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I'm gonna go. So here's the thing: font gets a 10. That picture gets a 6. So I'm gonna give it an 8 on the can, giving my final score an 8.14 for this beer. Mike,
as a guy who's lukewarm on caramels and red hot on oral hygiene, I'm gonna give this can a 3.
Nice.
Not feeling it.
Well, Mike, this comes up to a 6.64 for you, making it your second worst beer.
Wow.
Yeah. Or no, third. So there's the triple layer cake, which is infamous on this show, the Imperial Stout that you weren't a huge fan of, and now salted caramel. For mine, the 8.14, it's actually ranking pretty high because I had a lot of 7s at the start.
So I put creamer in my coffee this morning, and it was really sweet. And it's I have the Bones brand coffee. It was overwhelming, but now that I've drank most of this beer, now the beer is coming back. And I'm gonna say, what did I give for the matching of the flavor?
I think a 5. Yep, 5, straight 5.
Give me a 6.7.
6.7.
Yeah, let's see how it climbs up the list now.
6.98. Mike, it jumped over the chalky chip pancake stout. So now it's right in the middle now.
All right, give it a 6.5. I'm not feeling that. I don't have my chart in front.
I got it. All right, I'll just keep playing with these numbers until it's below the chocolate.
Crunch them again. There we go.
It's the same score. Yeah, I gotta go down like it. All right, now it's tied. We're gonna leave it at that. I gave it a 6.
Beautiful.
This is great podcasting. I'm just gonna keep playing with the numbers till it works. Mike, you know who kept playing with the numbers till it worked? Manscaped. That's right.
Yeah,
the Lawnmower 3.0. They kept playing with their numbers because they want you to play with your buddies till they're nice and soft and.
Wow.
Leave it at that. All right. So when they were playing with the numbers, they were working the sucker up to a 7,000 RPM motor. This charge lasts all day, and it's the 3.0 because they've gone through 2 iterations because they want to keep making this better for you. Some more numbers you can consider is the 20% off and free. That means $0.00 shipping. For the Lawnmower 3.0 package. So you just got to go to manscaped.com and use promo code THPN, and you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. So you do this, you help support the show, you help support the Hockey Podcast Network. We're all going to be around for a lot longer if you go buy that lawnmower 3.0. But I'm telling you, Mike, we've been talking about it for the entire year.
Yeah.
We've been talking about all of our little journeys through clipping.
It's only been 3 days. Woo! All right, I'm sorry. I like Manscaped, all right?
Get that new year started off right?
Trim balls, and I like my little leather case, and that's not what I named my ball sack. It comes with a leather case.
I love my little leather case. Look at it.
It's nice, like boiled cow skin. Oh, it feels great.
Jesus Christ. So keep your boiled cow skin nice and clean with the lawnmower 3.0. A wrinkly, crinkly bag of skin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my favorite segment, and let's see if I can do this up properly.
Oh, Matt's favorite.
No,
right.
we're not doing that. We're doing Matt's favorite. It's Be the GM. Dude, I hit the wrong button. All right.
Even if the game sucks, like that music rules. All right. It doesn't suck, but I'm sorry I phrased it that way. Matt, what do we got for this week's Be the GM?
This week we have I had it up. There it goes. Mike. So I did get criticized here, but you know what? I had so much fun thinking of this. So I wanted to add some drama, but not too much drama. I didn't want to put a gun to anybody's head. So, Mike, you have a squirt gun filled with wine pointed at your chest, and you just bought a new suit. So you have to listen to this individual who's crashed into your office. Mike, you're passed a list of 4 names, and you are instructed to give one of them a new contract today, so you don't get any playing time through this upcoming season. You didn't get any training camp when this was, I guess, you know what? You could play right now, Mike. You could go through a couple of days of training camp and give me a pick here. Mike, these 4 names on this list that you have to sign one of them: Cholowski, Rasmussen, Svechnikov, and Hirose. Who, Mike, are you giving a contract to without seeing them and only knowing what you've seen in the past?
Well, I am going to go the route of Mr. Steve Yzerman. And what I'm going to do is pick the biggest man in the company. Give me Rasmussen. All right? You can't teach height. You can't teach big. He's a big baller.
Can't teach
that. Bada boom! Biggest guy in the room. How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? All right, Mike, I love that pick.
Nick Tucker Skywalker. All right. Michael Rasmussen, welcome to my office. You're getting a new contract.
So here's the game I'm going to play. I'm going to pick up Svechnikov. And the Let's Go Red Wings Nation picked Cholowski, which I totally get. I'm not saying that's a bad pick. I'm picking Svechnikov, Mike, and I'm giving him a short contract because I'm just going to hold on to this guy and keep asking Carolina if they want the Svechnikov brothers to play together. I figure at some point I'm going to get a draft pick back for that. So Svechnikov for future draft pick consideration from the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's like the Sedins, huh?
Right. It was kind of weird to see Svechnikov get interviewed about that yesterday. It was, I don't know, it was a little awkward. You got to think. I mean, we're brothers. We know how it feels. One of us is, right now, one of us is down in the dumps with no job, and he plays on his computer all day. And then the other one has a successful career booming.
Down on the jobs, with the job on a computer all day. So it's kind of.
One of us gets paid to play on a computer all day, and the other doesn't. I mean, like, the sourness develops. So you got to think whenever Svechnikov has his brother brought up, he's not too happy. But I guess maybe we just keep crossing our fingers and going, he's going to get angry. But
I mean, I want one of those giant lines that Yzerman's dreaming of. I want 3 to 4. I want 3 forwards who are 6'6" and above, a couple defensemen who are 6'8" and above. Matt, we're just going to be a bunch of trees out there. We're going to be able to score goals from our own zone. How about that? Just the long arm of the law reaching across the ice. I can't wait.
So, yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but there was on our wrestling podcast. Everybody, you can check that out. Brothers of Discussion. Mike, you brought up maybe 2 weeks ago, one of those wrestlers did a promo where he's like, "I'm better than 95% of the guys in this room." What?
John Spears?
Yeah. So Svechnikov in his training camp interview earlier this week was talking about all the problems he has with his game. And I guess from one perspective, it's good from a real sport perspective, right? Like you want to see a guy who's aware because he needs to fix those things. But it was a little disheartening for him to throw them out so casually and just go, yeah, Blash gave me this, and this to work on. So we'll see how it goes. Like, and the question was basically like, are you ready for the season? Or, you're really gunning for a spot on the roster? And that was his response was, I don't know. I have all these things to work out. It's not looking good. It's like, oh, now I'm exaggerating his answers. I'm exaggerating my own reaction to it because I was probably laughing. But I don't know. I still like that. Like from all of these guys, if there's a sure thing, to me, it's that one day trading Svechnikov to Carolina Hurricanes. All right.
Well, how about this? Like, I understand your concern. But there's some people that are like, all right, listen, you have elite height. Check. Elite size. Those are two different things. You're welcome. And now we're just going to give you this list of things. And if you do this list, you'll be elite. And he's like, well, I will get started on list. Stick handling. Fuck. All right. Well, here I go. So at least he kind of have like a tangible, objective list, of things Blashill gave him. And I do wish that we could see the full list, like.
Well, the number one on the list was his inability to finish a game. So he was actually referring to stamina. And so I at least think that's something you can work on. I mean, going back to pro wrestling, I mean, like, watch Roman Reigns struggle, and now he's pretty great. But that I can work with. I think if Blash came in and was like, skating, not great, man. This is just like, fuck. You're pretty dumb. Can you work on that? Like, those are the things where I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, but I mean, I different strokes for different folks. I'm hoping that he takes this list and, they're not too daunting of requests from our beloved Jeff Blashill.
Right, and I apologize to everybody where I had to bring in pro wrestling into this to make it make sense for us, but I like everybody's pick here, and I do like too that Hirose finished with 19.2%. I think that's the guy out of all three of these, or out of the four, that would have been the toughest for me to sign right now, because I think he nailed it. Like Cholowski, we've seen the flashes, we've seen it. Rasmussen, you can't argue with size. Svechnikov, trade him over to Carolina. All right.
Look at that last name.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap up that Be the GM. And Mike, it's also time to wrap up our Sweden conversation. For poor Elmer Soderblom becomes he's the two-time MVP of the game in Sweden. I think if you watch these games and you look at the analytics, you can see that Soderblom is not the MVP of these games in regards to, just straight up ice time. So it's not happening. But he's also carrying the puck is not something he's leading the team in. But I the point of me saying this is that I think we might have a good leader on our hands. And I brought this up on Twitter. Soderblom's going to get the votes. It's one of two things, right? Either he's a good leader, or they feel so bad for him that they're like, you know what? Let's vote for Soderblom. He's my MVP tonight. Because it's voted by the team. So if those are your two options, and Soderblom does not look, in any way does he look like he's hurting that Swedish team. We saw yesterday in their elimination game to Finland, if you looked at that entire Swedish team, he was playing his nuts off in the third period, and really it looked like Sweden gave up, and there were also some injuries that Sweden's dealing with too. So that's kind of where their season just fell off the rails right at the end there. And they definitely pulled back and changed their strategy where it was more aggressive the first and second period. And then they just said, you know what, let's hold on to this lead, and didn't work out. But Soderblom was one of the guys. We saw a few rushes of his. And of course, Mike, he had another between the legs goal yesterday. What the hell?
He's a machine.
Psycho.
You can't stop him.
And I loved former guest on the show. I'm not sure if he's a friend of the show based on our conversation. Prashant Thayer pointed out to someone who said, yeah, great. Let's see if he can put those goals in the NHL. It's not about him being able to do that on a nightly basis in the NHL. It's about that we know he can do that. And if you put him in front of the net, you're not just going to play him the one way where you're going to try and or like cut in between his space in front of the goalie and him, or try and move him, which is going to be very tough on a 6'8" human being. If you know that he can stick handle in front of the net too, you're not going to know how to play that man. And that is the key. That's where that comes into play. That's where this power play could eventually just become the Soderblom show. Now, I'm jumping the gun here. And, again, Mike, we got to talk Soderblom because that's why our last podcast episode blew up. I'm guessing. I gotta believe like that this is something that the Red Wings are getting that eye on. It's probably speeding up this opportunity for him from this is it in the SHL and you're getting your shot next season. Like him and Lucas Raymond, who got some power play time together. I think that's going to be huge to put them on the power play together next season. And again, we see that there's a for sure first power play line this year. And if you could put together a second power play line where Lucas Raymond is passing to Soderblom, boom, let's see what happens. I'm excited about it. I hope a lot of people are looking at it the right way. Again, I'm not looking at this saying like, all right, cool, we're gonna get these between the leg goals once a night from Soderblom. It's more about you've got a dynamic hybrid giant, a guy that and it's not even about the power play. We saw him on the rush yesterday too, just skating between guys. And Mike, where we the trouble with Rasmussen is his speed. And the word sluggishness gets thrown about. It looks like he's skating in cement sometimes, but Soderblom has those long strides. It's akin to, I would say, like Calvin Johnson. If you remember watching him run, where it looked like he was in slow motion, but he's so big that he's across the field in no time. And this is running, in case you didn't know. So this is skating. Sorry for everybody listening on the podcast.
That is no miming skating.
Yeah, you can check us out on YouTube.
You're watching the video, you would think, my God, is there ice in his office? My God, look at him go.
But
Soderblom, cold breeze hit me. Man, somebody must be skating right now. Okay.
It's funny because people were commenting, and if you watch it, he goes down the ice fast. It's just that he's so big and he's got those huge legs. People actually said online he looks slow. He's not. He's just got those huge legs like Calvin Johnson. But he's also stick handling through. And he's a guy that proved that not only can he stay in front of the net and knock in some pucks, but he's going to help power plays too because he can just skate through the D. He's that good at stick handling that he's making his own offensive zone possessions, taking it from the defensive side all the way through a couple of blue lines. And I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting to think that we're going to have another. Like you got to hope that these 6th round guys, like one of them works out. I don't, it's not a for sure thing. Like you don't need it to have a Stanley Cup contender or a playoff contender. But if a 6th round guy works out, man, yeah, it's freaking huge.
Yeah, I'm really excited for a couple seasons from now when, Prashant is like, yeah, well, let's see him, be the top line forward, and then the next season, well, let's see him get more than one MVP vote. Well, let's.
Oh no, Prashant was on his side. He's on our side. He was commenting on he was commenting on another guy who said, let's see him do that in the NHL. And Prashant said, that's not what this is about. This is about him being able to do this, and you're not going to understand how to play him in the offensive zone. Yeah,
I just there's enough prospects that are prospects for we just call them that word because that's all they bring to the table. But Elmer, he's got some evidence for us to get excited about. I'm not going to knock that down. I don't get to see a lot of gazelles that can skate, and now we have a couple of gazelles, and one of them's Elmer. Let's have a little positivity. I'm excited to watch juniors. Even if our NHL product's going to be bad. Come on. Where does positivity come from? Is this a wrestling fan? God damn it.
So the other big name that I think everybody knows Lucas Raymond's going to make a difference for us at some point. And I can't believe people are calling him a bust. I can't believe people are calling him a bust. Mike, don't say that. All right, so here's what we also want to share. We've got it right here. It's at Hunter of Stats posted here. This is Eemil Viro with his controlled zone exit leaders after day 7. So one of the things that we talked about before the World Juniors even started was keeping an eye on Eemil Viro. He's going to finish now and go into finish. He's going to go into the next round after taking down Team Sweden as one of the top performing exit leaders as defensemen go. And that's one of the things that the Red Wings struggled with. And two things to keep in mind with this stat. This is a getting the opportunities kind of number. It's not necessarily a success number. He could have a ton of failures here, but he just gets a lot of chances. But he is trusted by Finland, who is, well, they just took out Team Sweden, but it's not like we're talking about Canada here, who has just line after line after line of first round picks. I mean, it's definitely they're closer to the middle / bottom of in regards to how many guys are going to be drafted and make it to the NHL. So he's going to have some tougher play. He's going to have some more difficult lines to play against. He's going to have a tougher job. His responsibilities, the responsibilities of a defenseman on Team Finland far outweigh the responsibilities of a defenseman on the U.S. team or Team Canada. I have no problem saying that. And if anybody disagrees with me, go fuck yourself. This is a tournament that every year should end with Russia, USA, or Canada in some fashion in the gold. It's if any other team wins it, good on them. Team Sweden's great, but I mean what I say. Every year it should be US, Russia, and Canada. It should be. That's where the talent level's at. If they get bored, it's not on me. It's on them. All right. But that's where you see what's going on here. And a lot of this, if you see the other Finnish guys on here on this list, I'm pointing at the list. I don't know why. And my arm's going in the other direction. Let me pretend I'm a weatherman. You see some other Finnish names on here. So that does mean they play a little bit more on their defensive zone. And that's why they have to carry it out more. But you can't, I mean, it would be one thing for this just not to be a number we're talking about right now. Like it's a whole nother conversation if Eemil isn't on here. It is an opportunities thing, which we have to keep in mind, but he's still going to come out of this as a defensive defenseman, being one of the guys that can control the puck and get it out for the Finnish team. And the other number here we want to talk about is zone denials per 60. Tracked for a defenseman only here. So a zone denial is somebody trying to get in. Boom, Emil's getting in the way. He's second in the World Juniors in this. And third, Albert Johansson.
Hey!
Right. So this is also another fun one to take a peek at. This is something where when you're trying to figure out how do you track a defensive defenseman, that's where these numbers come into play. This is something where Eemil had a great assist last night, and it was him carrying the puck and getting an amazing assist for Team Finland. But this is where he's going to shine. This is where he gets his chance to play with the Red Wings moved up a year. This is if this continues, and this is a number that we can count on. He's going to be not a top pairing defenseman, not a guy we're hoping is going to perform great on the power play, but a great penalty killing defenseman and a great, bottom 4 pairing somewhere or saving somebody in that bottom 4. If we want to go with somebody who's going to move the puck a little bit more, he could be that balance to that line. Eemil Viro, keep an eye on him. It is sad that Sweden is gone. We saw the tears from Soderblom and Lucas Raymond last night, but still someone to keep an eye on. Mike, I don't know if you want to throw anything in there, but I'm ready for your favorite segment.
Oh, I'm always ready for my favorite segment.
Then that means it's time for Who's That Pokemon?
No. Starring head coach Jeff Blashill. Matt, in 2 weeks, we won't have to do this anymore, where I go into the annals of Red Wing history to find a quote from head coach.
I thought you were gonna have a new quote from training camp. Damn it!
Absolutely not. You've been combing through those articles. I'm not letting you cherry pick an easy victory, Matt. You're still gonna have to struggle this week. Matt, as usual, you get the option of choosing between myself reading the quote that is cherry picked by myself about a Red Wing player, or friend of the show, Paul Woods, will jump on and help us out.
Paul Woods, please.
Matt has once again told his brother to go to hell. And so here's what we're going to do. Matt, roughly this time in 2020, head coach Jeff Blashill was talking about a certain player. Matt, you're going to have to guess who he was talking about. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Well, here we go. It's Paul Woods here. Very excited to be on Red Wings Rant. It's probably my favorite thing in the whole wide world. All I do is go to bed thinking about going on the show one more time, and here I am.
Thanks, Paul.
Reading Coach. Oh, you're quite welcome, man. But it's really exciting to talk to Mike Klink. Michael, how are you? Doing great. Sounds good. All right, there. Thank you, Mike. Here we go. If all of a sudden some of the guys we've drafted here in the last few years really pop, our whole trajectory changes fast. You just don't know which guys are going to pop and which aren't. Certainly, fill in the blank would be at the head of the list in terms of showing signs of he's an elite competitor, Blashill said. There's moments he's been an elite winner, and if a number of guys pop, this sure can happen fast. So, Matt, head coach Jeff Blashill was talking about a poppin' player roughly a year to the date today. Who was that poppin' player?
I mean, it's got to be Tyler, right? Because he was going to the All-Star game, I think, at this point. Like that had been announced, or he was getting the votes, or they were talking about how Tyler was going to make it. I know he was at the top of the team in points, and I'm not sure if Mantha was playing at the time. And I don't know if they saw enough from Zadina at the time to say he's popping. I'm going to say Tyler Bertuzzi.
Matt has said Tyler Bertuzzi. Matt, wrong again. Matt,
God damn it.
Dylan Larkin.
What?
Power play goal by number 71, Dylan Larkin. Yep, sorry, Matt. That was
Future captain of the Red Wings might make a difference.
Yep, that was
Thanks,
another
Jeff.
exciting edition of Who's That Pokemon.
Oh my God! All right,
Sorry.
well, I'm ready to wrap up.
I had
Jesus,
some caramel beer in my throat. It's actually pronounced Who's That Pokemon? Yeah, thanks, Jeff Blashill.
All right, everybody, thanks for not commenting again. It's good fun chatting with you.
Yeah, we hate the distraction. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Honestly, we don't need it. Check us out. Check us out on YouTube as the Brothers of Discussion. We've got all of our wrestling episodes up there too. But thanks for checking out all of our takes over the last week of Soderblom and Team Sweden. A lot of fun to be had there. But check us out again. We've got the live watch-alongs happening at BOD Hockey on Twitter. It'll be the Red Wings Rant podcast official Twitter account. And then, of course, some memes going up as the hottest meme in Let's Go Red Wings Nation, of course, was our John Merrill. It takes some creativity, Mike. I'll say this. There's some rival podcasts that went a little too easy. They went for some low-hanging fruit, and that tweet did blow up. But I don't care. I'm gonna stick with my creativity on this one. I'm not just gonna stick with the low-hanging fruit for these meme trends. We're gonna go deep. Go deep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
everybody, thanks for listening.
Nice.
We're gonna be back to twice a week this week, and we have some pretty cool interviews lined up for this week as well. So keep an eye out, especially for next weekend, just in case anything falls through. I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but we should have a pretty hot interview coming up. Next Sunday. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Toodles.